this is our position and it is clear. I'm sure by now, anybody who still tag us to be anything is our normal. Whatever the position of the judgment is, there were actually two judgments. One in the case of APP versus OSEC, which judgment was given on by the Federal High Court. The matter was taken to the appeal and it was dismissed for want of diligent prosecution. Want of diligent prosecution could have been from either of the two sides, either the prosecutor or the defendant, that is either the APP or OSEC. But the fact of the matter is that there is no judgment on that matter. What was issued was a dismissal at the appeal court for want of diligent prosecution. And then the second case was between the APC and the PDP. That is the APC dragging the PDP to court for what they call illegal removal of elected local government chairmen and councillors in 2022. And if you look at the prayers of that court, I have the judgment, I've taken my time and busy schedule to read through. There were prayers from A to H. And particularly prayer G or H, if I'm not mistaken, stated it categorically, that they sought the prayer of the court that sacked local government chairman should be reinstated to the office. It is clear in the prayers. You can go and read it. It's a public document. And the court that sat in Akure said all their prayers were granted, all the reliefs were granted, which means from prayer A to prayer H, all the prayers were granted. But politicians and lawyers, being who they are, they still say there is ambiguity. For me as a layman, there is no ambiguity. If it is this English that I went to school to read, though, between A and B, I can see clearly. But if lawyers say there is ambiguity, it is not in my place to say there are no ambiguity. But taking without conceding that of the truth there is an ambiguity, there is also a provision of the law that says that if there are contentions about the judgment of the court, what you seek is to approach that same court for further clarification or interpretation. And as God will have it, the judges that gave the judgment in Akure on February 10, none of them have died as at this morning. So you can still approach that panel be reconstituted and they should give clarity to the judgment that they gave. Before I conclude on that, they have been saying, why is it not APC? Why can't APC go to court and say clarification? And I keep saying it that it's in the human nature, that when you have something at your advantage, you run with it. The APC saw the judgment of the appeal court in Akure as being beneficial to them. So they took a run with it. It is now, the onus is on the neck of the PDP, who says otherwise to what the APC is claiming, to approach the court to say, don't confuse us. Give us clarity as to the dictates of this judgment. They failed to do that. And let me also add this. There is a lawyer here. I've spoken to, as at this morning, I still spoke to one. I've spoken to senior advocates on this matter because I don't want to go and say what I'm not sure of. And one of the things I was told that is obstinate in law, which Prof would agree with me, is that when there are two judgments on the same matter from the same courts, the latest of those judgments take precedence.
Quite correct.
So if there are, let's assume without conceding, that there is a judgment of the appeal court in the APP versus OSEC, and there's another one in the judgment of APC versus PDP. The latest of those two judgments from the same appeal court is the judgment of the APC versus PDP, which take preeminence over the judgment earlier given by the APP versus OSEC, if at all any judgment was given. So if politicians will see...
In addition to that, you cannot benefit from a legal action that you are not a party to. So definitely the two sides now, all the sides are in favor of the APC in this matter. It's a point of law.
So that leaves us with the judgment. But now that they say it's ambiguous, we are still waiting for who will clear the ambiguity, who will blink first. But let us again use this medium to condemn resort to self-help. It does not help anyone. What I said it on one of the, I think, News Central, that what the police should have done in this matter was to, before that Monday that the APC said they were going to resume office, what the police were supposed to do was to take over the control of the local government like they are doing now and make sure that neither the APC nor the PDP have access to the local government. It is their duty. Law, protection of law as police officers is not about making sure that when crimes are committed, you investigate. The major duty of the police is to prevent crime. So it was clear to everybody prior 17th that there was going to be crisis on the 17th. It was clear. There were security reports to that effect, even to an ordinary man. So the police will have acted rightly by seizing the headquarters of all the local governments and ensuring that none of the two parties have access to the local government until there's a directive properly passed by the court, or from the register of the court to the IGP, and from the IGP to the formation of police in the state. So if you ask me, the police are culpable in the crime, arson, and killings that happened in Osun State on the 17th. Finally, on the issue of election, you don't build something on nothing. Common sense would have prevailed to say that, look, there is a legal tussle over local government administration in the states. Let me also say this. Maybe a lot of people are not alluding their mind to it. Let's assume, without conceding, that the court actually reinstated the SYLAPC local government chairmen and councillors. By law, their tenure will terminate October of 2025. This is February 2025. We have just 8 months. So it could have taken the OSEC to say that, look, pending the resolution of the crisis, we are shifting the election to so time. If they want to be smart by half, they could have shifted it to after that October. So which means if the court eventually said even the 2022 APC chairman and councillors are the authentic whatever, their tenure will terminate by October 2025, you can have another election and have whoever win that election step into office. That would have been the commonsensical thing to do.
Our suggestions. 1. All parties must immediately return to the relevant courts to clarify the substituting judgments so that the current issues can be amicably resolved. 2. Once clarified, all parties must respect the decision of the courts and lay the matter to rest once and for all. 3. As we approach the 2026 gubernatorial elections, all parties must show that they are committed to peace and security of lives and property. The current crisis, if allowed to escalate to the next year, has the tendency to burn our state, once peaceful state, down. 4. All parties must watch their utterances so as not to worsen the already fragile peace in the state. 5. The Osun State government must collaborate with the federal government to ensure smooth resolution of all issues on ground. Arms of government should complement one another, not be at loggerheads in this manner if the development is indeed our priority. 6. Staff of the local government must remain non-partisan and align themselves with the rule of law to ensure they do not become willing tools in the hands of any politician. Threats to life and attempt at assassination. May we, as a coalition of civil society organizations, bring to the notice of the gentlemen of the press and the general public that on Monday, 17th through Tuesday, 18th February 2024, the home of one of us, Comrade Wale Aluta, was ravaged by men of the underworld. While their intention cannot be ascertained as we speak, his home was broken into and ransacked, though they did not make away with anything from the house. We suspect this as a state terror and won't hesitate to hold the government accountable should anything untoward happen to him or his family or any member of this group. While the attempt has been reported to all the security agencies, particularly the Commissioner of Police, and records taken, we make bold to say that any attempt to silence the voice of the people through this means we have a civil society group is utterly condemnable. Economy. It is obvious that the current administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is making several efforts at reviving and rejuvenating the economy of the nation. However, we make bold to say that the result of these efforts on an average Nigerian is still negative. Hence, the pervasive poverty seen all over the country. Nigerians seem to have moved from clicky poverty to cyclic poverty to multidimensional poverty within this period. The fuel subsidy removal, which occasioned inflation on several items, such as basic daily needs, it has also occasioned a rise in cost of services, such as telecommunications, electricity, gas supply, and so on and so forth. We call on the president to, as a matter of urgency, rethink strategies that will alleviate the ravaging poverty in the land. We condemn the recent acquisitions of the Ministry of ICT to the increment in the data and call services of telecoms company in the country, occasioning further difficulty for Nigerians. Federal University of Agriculture and Development Studies. We commend the federal government for the establishment of the above-named institution in Osun State. We believe that this will further help the nation through qualitative research, thereby contributing to national development. We like to advise the host community not to personalize this noble effort, but give the necessary support for its successful offtake and subsequent growth. In conclusion, we are worried that every passing day, Osun moves closer to a worse phase in the ongoing crisis. I will implore all concerned to start acting responsibly through clear dictates of our laws. May God bless Osun State. May God bless Nigeria. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. That will be